welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here and you're into 3D printing, photography and drones, start now by subscribing and hitting the bell so you won't miss anything. We're talking about the Anet ET4 PRO 3D printer. Anet, they were so kind to send me a sample of their printer. Let's address the elephant in the room. It's 150 euros. You can buy it off Banggood or AliExpress at the moment, and it's a crazy printer for their price. Before jumping into the review, I would like to tell you about this collaboration I have ongoing with this really good friend of mine, Giuseppe. He runs an Instagram page. It's called 3D Print All. You find all the links in the description. He talks about 3D printers. He reviews Filaments. You can find coupons to buy printers and filament. And he talks about application of electronics to 3D prints. It's a great page to go and get inspiration from. All the links will be down in the description. Go pay him a visit. He deserves it. When I received this printer, I wasn't expecting for much. I was expecting for a cheap 3D printer. Many reviews on internet and articles online don't appreciate this printer that much. They say it's not, user-friendly, and sometimes it can be a bit frustrating. I find that for 150 euros, it's a great printer. And after a little bit of tweaks and after a little bit of, some attention that the user must pay on it, it can give you really, really great results. I got this printer from Anet in a very crazy way. We were talking, we were in contact, and they told me, do you want to get a 3D printer from a return? Then this Italian guy bought it and he doesn't want it anymore. He doesn't know how to operate it. Do you want us to send it to you? And I said, yeah, okay. So I got this return from this guy who had bought it a week earlier, could not operate it. The printer arrived here and it had a couple of issues. The printer was not reading the SD card. The pneumatic fitting on the button extruder was broken. And after a while, I realized that also the fan wasn't working. All stuff that for an expert 3D maker, it's part of everyday routine of taking care of a 3D printer. But as I said, this printer is not aimed for a beginner. A beginner would probably be frustrated about all these small issues, especially if it's the first printer, as it happened for the guy who returned this. But again, after a little bit of tweakings, this printer can give you really, really good results. Let me give you some specs of this 3D printer. It has a super silent stepper motor driver. It has auto bed leveling, even though I tried it a couple of times, didn't like it. Stick to manual bed leveling, that works much better. It's very easy to put together and to assemble. It takes only 10 or 15 minutes, comes in 3 pieces, and instructions are pretty straightforward. Print volume is 220 by 220 by 250, really good for any desktop setup. It has a button extruder. The print bed is glass, and you can also use a magnetic bed that was included in the package. It has print recovery and a filament sensor. I'm not going to show you how to bed level this printer. I'm not going to show you how to put it together today, because it's full of reviews on internet that shows you how to do that. I just want to tell you about my experience. And my experience started with this printer in not the best way. I printed out straight away this out of the SD card. I really wonder why manufacturer like slice 80% infill every time they do. This is so heavy. And I started to notice on this a cooling issue that I've also found on the second print I've done right here. I did so many tests. This first benchy I did showed exactly the same issue right here. The material was not cooling down properly. It's crazy what you see on this dyno. It was not cooling at all. So what I did was I replaced this small fan here with one I bought in a Chinese local store here. And after that, I started printing really nice. Of course, I had to tune, and let's say it didn't came from the factory like tuned at its maximum, at its best, but it's something you can do. I mean, you have all the tools inside the box, and it's a good printer to make experience. This is my third printer, and I already knew what to do, what to fix, how to tighten the bed, how to tighten the bolts. So when I say it's not a 3D printer for a beginner, if a beginner is willing to not to spend much and willing to learn, this can be a printer also for him. After a bunch of failed prints, I also printed this with the Anet ET4 PRO. It's a box I always like to print to keep inside stuff that I print. These are all the failed prints. If you consider they're not many, because I tested so many different stuff and I printed so many different benches. This was the first benchy that came out perfectly after I'd fixed those couple of issues. It's flawless, it looks beautiful. I learned that this printer is a reliable printer if it's well tuned and ready to go. I know I slice the piece, I put it in, I can let it print and leave the room without even looking at it. There was some slight tweaking also on how the printer homed and started the print. I modified the G-code on Cura. Probably I will do another video about how to modify that in the future, because I find it useful and there's a lack of information on the internet. And then I started printing, and the prints that come out of this printer are pretty awesome. This is a really simple low poly Fox printed in Sinton Zillion silk green. Really nice effect. I printed out this, I don't know what you call it, tackle dog. It's like sausage dog. And they turned out really nice. What I love the most of this printer is that you can set the speed to low and print amazing vases. I mean, I've been printing with this printer for the last couple of months, and my house is full of vases and most of them are printed out with this. Again, it's a good printer. It's like, for the money you're spending, it's a great printer. It needs some attention, yeah, but the results that it delivers are amazing. This Spider-Man, sorry for the black lines, my kid wrote on it with a pen, but if you pay attention to the details, this printer is really good. I was not expecting for this level of quality. I was expecting of being in a awkward situation because, you know, I had to talk about the flaws of this printer. This printer has flaws, but flaws that you can fix. I mean, it has a really intuitive interface, touch screen with 3 main commands, very easy to operate. Of course, you have to take care, You have to take care of it, you have to cuddle it, and you have to well tune it before it will give you great results. Because it will give you great results. This is printed in vase mode as well. I don't want to talk too much about this printer. I don't want to bore you. I just want to give you my experience with this printer. This printer has become my second main printer. It's sitting there. I know it's reliable when I have something to do, something that requires time. And I know that this printer, if you slow down speed, it can give you really amazing results. If you speed up with this printer, you probably will have issues. So my suggestion is not to go further than 40 millimeters per second. I find that working for me amazingly. As I usually do on my printers, I do some upgrades, and for the Anet ET4 PRO, I just printed out a filament guide over here. I printed out a beautiful knob. This is Azurefilm PETG Neon, and it's beautiful. I also printed out cover for the Y-stop in the back over there, and a cable holder for the bed cable, so it doesn't wobble and it keeps in place. I like doing that because first of all it gives a nice touch to the printer, and then it fixes the small issues we talked about. Getting back to this printer, would I suggest this printer? Yeah, I would definitely suggest it. 150 euros, seriously. A couple of years ago you could not buy a printer this quality for less than 2,000 or 3,000 euros. And today you can buy it for 150 euros from this Chinese store. You can even buy it from Amazon. I saw it yesterday, it was 216 euros. So we're talking about a very low price for a 3D printer that needs some care. And if you care about it, it will give you good results. I don't want to say it's not for beginners, but my experience tells me that if a beginner would buy this, he would probably be frustrated. So I would not suggest it if it's your first printer. I would definitely suggest it if it's your second one and you want to start learning and you want to start having issues that you will know how to fix, and you will use this experience for your third and fourth printer if that's your aim. I hope this review was useful for you. It's not even a review, it's my personal experience on this printer. Smash the like button, guys, if you like the video. Subscribe if you're not yet subscribed, and I'll see you guys on the next video.